members. We have a full house today, so we turn straight to questions for all answer. And question number 1 is in the hands of the Honourable Member for Arbory, Castletown and Malew, Mr Moorhouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I would like to ask the Treasury Minister how many VAT-registered businesses and individuals submitted VAT returns using the traditional paper option in the first quarter of 2019 and 2020.
I want the Treasury Minister to reply.
Mr Speaker, the number of VAT-registered businesses and individuals that submitted VAT returns using the traditional paper option for the first quarter of 2019 was 2,016. This represented 23.7% of all returns rendered. For the first quarter of 2020, this was 1,622, which represented 26.1% of all returns rendered. The figures referred to relate to the first quarter of the relevant fiscal year and not the calendar year.
Supplementary question, Mr Morehouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and thank you, Minister. Given the large number of people who are still opting to use the paper option, why is it now being continued and what support is being offered?
Minister to reply.
Mr Speaker, just for clarification, it's being discontinued and everyone will go online from April next year. All VAT registrants that currently complete VAT returns by paper will receive a letter with their next VAT return, which includes a step-by-step guide on how to register and their activation code. It also provides the telephone number of the helpline that has been set up specifically to answer any questions and to help anyone through the process. Customs officers are also offering one-to-one sessions to help anybody who needs additional assistance.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Can the Treasury Minister confirm that this is part of the Government's digital strategy to put more services online for the future? And what about anybody who doesn't have access to the internet, which is a possibility? You did state that the Customs and Excise will support people. Will that be on-hand support to do an electronic submission? Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Minister to reply.
Well, as I said, Mr Speaker, Customs officers will give anybody who requires support as much help as they realistically need to get themselves adjusted to the new system. I suggest that the vast majority of businesses using in today's modern world, irrespective of what they actually do, are using some form of online assistance to help them with their businesses, whether that's on the accounting side or whether that's actually promoting their businesses. So I'd be surprised if there are any major issues with this. I can say that following the announcement, there has been a small number of inquiries on the helpline with one request for an exemption, which officers are dealing with. We'll continue to offer as much help and assistance as possible, and I would suggest this is a naturally progressive step in a modern world, and one that has actually benefit both the businesses, I would suggest, and also the efficiency of running the online VAT systems.
Supplementary question, Mr Morehouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Has any research been done into the number of individuals and businesses who are digitally excluded within this group?
Minister to reply.
Well, as I said, Mr Speaker, there has been a small number of inquiries on the helpline. One request since the announcement was made for an exemption. As I said, we'll be working with that individual. All VAT registrants will receive their letter, as I said, with their next return. Mr Speaker, I'm sure if there are a very small number, I expect, but a handful probably that you would be able to count on one hand, who may need assistance, we will offer every assistance to those individuals.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Just to ask the Minister again, is this part of the Government's digital strategy to move more services online?
Minister to reply.
Well, certainly part of Treasury's assessment of moving things forward for society, and I think a natural progression for the Treasury to take this step at this point in time.
Final supplementary question, Mr Morehouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Minister suggested this was an efficiency move. What are the cost savings involved?
Minister to reply.
I think there will be cost savings, Mr Speaker. There's not always cashable cost savings, but it will enable quicker turnaround for assessment, particularly from a Treasury perspective of the amounts that are owed. We'll be able to more quickly assess whether there are potential issues, and in fact I would suggest it will save a lot of time in terms of customer communication as well, when customers need to speak specifically to officers about the detail of their return. So it's early days for me to make such a bold announcement at this stage, but it is something that clearly, if everybody is electronically assessing their, submitting their information, and it's been assessed in that way rather than a manual inputting, then one expects there to be cost savings for the Treasury and more useful application of officer time.